Hello you guys, and welcome back to Simple Investing. So a question that's lingering on a lot of Bitcoin mining investors' minds, and quite frankly probably keeping them up at night, is whether or not these Ethereum treasury companies, have they stolen the spotlight of our beloved miners? So throughout this video, that's what I'm going to be addressing, giving you guys some of my viewpoints, as well as some projections going forward here into the end of 2025. And then finally, I'm going to dive in and look at some charts. So make sure you guys stick around till the end of the video so you don't miss anything. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and would like seeing similar content in the future, then please do consider subscribing as well as hitting the like button. Alright, so without any further ado, let's dive on in here. For anyone that's an OG to the space and you've been investing or at least following the Bitcoin miners over the last two cycles, so 2017, 2018, and then 2020 and 2021, the latest cycle, and you were able to see how much hype and excitement these companies were able to generate with crazy returns of 25 to 150x in 8 to 12 months. This cycle, to say the least, has been a little bit of a disappointment just based off the price action. It's definitely been more of a trader's market than an investor's market. Whoever has been holding these companies has definitely gotten punished, as you've just basically been round tripping as they've been consolidating in a range, which in a way I don't see as a bad thing, as consolidations are always good. It's almost like a launch pad for the rocket, and then when it's ready to go, it really springs out and gets going. So what's been kind of going on here is the miners have been kind of the ugly duckling of this cycle, and a lot of the money has started flowing into treasury companies, which MicroStrategy has been able to generate a lot of hype throughout, from the bear market lows to the bull market highs here. They were able to generate about 35x, and they've been getting a lot of hype, and MicroStrategy is the company that's led by Michael Saylor. So that's kind of the thing that was big in this space, and everybody was, selling off their miners, and they're like, we're done with this, we're moving on to MicroStrategy. However, what happens with time is obviously there's dilution. Whatever shares you own, it's kind of the same as when a government prints money. Whatever shares you own just basically are worth less. So MicroStrategy has done a lot of dilution, as well as there's a lot of big holders on the way up. So people that have bought at higher prices, and once the stock starts recovering, they sell off. So that's another thing, and that kind of starts hitting the brakes on the price action of a stock. Not to say that the price won't move higher. Obviously, I do think MicroStrategy is going much higher throughout this cycle. So it's just going to be much slower and harder for it to get moving. And now what was able to steal the spotlight from MicroStrategy is the Ethereum treasury companies, which is the new guy on the block. Everybody always likes the new things. So they were able to generate crazy amounts of hype, and there's a couple of reasons for that. But whatever they were able to achieve in a matter of days took MicroStrategy more than a year. So that 35-40x that MicroStrategy was able to pull off, the Ethereum treasury companies were able to do in days, which is just obscene. And just the amount of dilution, everything that they're doing is also proportional. So they're just doing crazy amounts of this in a matter of days instead of months or years. So I do think the brakes are going to get hit on that train pretty damn quick compared to MicroStrategy even, just because, like I said, everything that they're doing is at an accelerated rate. And the reason they were able to generate a lot of hype is, first of all, they had very low market caps. So as you guys know, it's very easy to move a stock that has a lower market cap when you get some interest in it. Secondly, there was a couple of names that joined these companies that have a big backing behind them, and they're kind of a big name within the space. So for SBET, it was the co-founder of Ethereum, and for BMNR, it was Tom Lee, who's very bullish in general on stocks, but especially cryptocurrencies. And I could say almost he has some moon boy targets, which I'm not saying are not achievable. It's just to be realistic, you don't want to round trip just because you're listening to some of these targets. So it's good that he's bullish, and a lot of people know him for his bullishness within the space. So I believe these two people were able to generate a lot of hype for these two companies, and I think these are one-offs, as there's a lot of other Ethereum treasury companies now, such as GAME, as well as there is, I think, BTCS. So there is a bunch of Ethereum treasury companies now. I don't think all of them are going to generate the same amount of hype as SBT and BMNR. I do think those are two one-offs that were able to generate this and pull off a 35x. And now another big thing is Solana treasury companies. So that's also another one. There's two treasury companies. I can't remember the tickers off the top of my head. However, that's also another thing, and some of them have already moved quite a bit as well. So the risk to return on the treasury companies just don't make sense. And I do think also a lot of people are able to make quite a nice coin on them, and they're going to be looking within the traditional markets for anything that has exposure to cryptocurrency and where there is good return to risk. So they'll see the Bitcoin miners eventually as undervalued asset, and I do think money is going to pour into it. And the reason for that, you guys, is let's just say Mara. If you considered Mara Marathon Digital as a strictly a Bitcoin treasury company, so they have about 50,000 Bitcoins. So if you look at the market caps of that and compare it to MicroStrategy, just from the multiple that MicroStrategy has, Mara's share price should be at $32, and right now it's sitting at 19.5, right? Market cap, what, 6.8? It should be a market cap of almost 10. That's just a simple comparison to MicroStrategy, and that's not even considering like any hype, as MicroStrategy multiple was way higher before. Now with all the diluted market, multiple has shrank quite a bit. So that's just one example of how undervalued, let's say, a company like Mara is. Now, since the Bitcoin miners trade on the traditional markets, Bitcoin is not the only thing that's stimulating and helping their share price go up. And the other thing that's very important for them, and if you guys look at the charts and kind of track how similar the price action of this is IWM to the miners, and specifically IWM, let's say, to Mara or CleanSpark. You'll see a lot of similarities, specifically speaking on Mara, and how the charts have behaved throughout 2020 and 2021. And it's crazy, just the relationship. And yeah, what I believe needs to happen, and that's kind of the final fuse to light the miners and really get them to go into the higher gear, it's, I believe, IWM must break into new all-time highs. And once it is able to do that, I do believe that that's going to be a pretty nice gain. That's probably going to be a, let's say, at least a 20 to 30% move. I do think IWM is probably going to hit between somewhere 260 to 280 before it has another, let's say, consolidation or some major drops in it. That should be enough to fuse the miners to really start to get going. And I think that's where the big money is going to be made. So institutions have been loading up on these miners. A lot of them have institutional ownership of 60 to 75%, which is just crazy. And I do know a lot of people will say that, yeah, once institutions come in, things get a little more boring, as institutions don't like big swings. So they're kind of looking more for, 100 to 200% gain out of this and not some crazy return. But never say never. When retail money also pours in, it's really able to propel these companies to some crazy valuations, because it all comes down to hype. And their market cap, speaking relatively to MicroStrategy, are really minuscule. Like MicroStrategy's market cap is what, like 120 billion, and the next nearest is Mara, which is at 7 billion, I believe, 6.8 billion. So it's a huge difference and a huge gap between them. So I really do think a lot of these miners can really catch the bid and give a nice multiple in return for the loyal investors going on here into the end of the year. So yeah, without any further ado, I'm gonna dive into the charts. So as I previously mentioned throughout the video, I believe IWM is a very important metric for tracking the performance of the Bitcoin miners. And until truly the IWM breaks out and surpasses its previous all-time high, which is at 244, I don't really see the Bitcoin miners performing to the level that people expect them to perform to. Therefore, the stars really must align, and it must be a joint effort between the IWM and the Bitcoin's price going up to really trigger these miners' move. Now, as you guys can see here, after the peak here in 2021, IWM was hit by the quantitative tightening, same as the remainder of the markets, and it was able to trade in range here between 162 and 200. Then I just drew a support trend line here in case if we were going to check back again. However, same as the remainder of the markets, we basically had that hated V-shaped recovery. Now, I believe the IWM is trading in a pretty nice spot right now, which is at around 121. As long as it is over 112, it is considered to be in a bullish environment. And I do think the 244 is going to be acting as a magnet, and it's going to be pulling on it. Now, I think over the upcoming months, the IWM is going to be breaking to a new all-time high. And just so you guys see here, the previous time it broke out from its previous high, it was able to go on a run of about 43%. I believe this time we are going to go on a run of at least 15 to 20%. So we'd be looking at these targets here So 244 to the first one, that's 15%, that's 280, and then 20% is about 293, which is quite realistic. So I do expect we're going to be reaching these targets here in the next couple of months. So therefore, it's looking very exciting for the Bitcoin miners. Next up, we got Bitcoin. Now, this one's been behaving very differently than in the previous cycles of 2017, 18, as well as 2020 and 2021. And the reason for that primarily, folks, is institutional ownership. Institutions like when things are more tamed, more controlled. Therefore, Bitcoin's been behaving in more of a stair-step in nature. So as you can see here, consolidation, multi-month consolidation, breakout. Consolidation or correction, whatever you want to call it, breakout and consolidation again, followed by another breakout. So what are we looking at here? So my original target from the flag that we were in a correction for here is right here. If you see this measured move right here from the bottom to top. So that essentially, folks, is the target of this breakout here from the flag, which is 136,000. Now this could take a little bit longer to get to, but in the short term here, what we're looking at, and let's get back to autofill, is this trend line right here, this orange trend line you folks can see. As long as we're trading above that, we're gonna be triggering the impulsive move to the upside. Now, Bitcoin's essentially trading in another flag here, and the breakout move, as you can see here, so that's gonna be the move right here. The extension, if we break out, is gonna be, I believe it was 128,000. So let's see what that is, about 128,000. So in the near term, I do expect if the flag is able to break out to the upside, in which this pattern currently is favoring, we should be reaching 128,000 here in the very near term. I would not be surprised if we reach that here by the end of the month. So overall, Bitcoin's looking really healthy. We're just basically waiting for IWM to start playing ball here so we can have the stars align and the miners really kick off here. Bitcoin dominance, that's another good one to keep an eye out for, and that's basically the behavior of everything within the cryptocurrency system. So altcoins versus Bitcoin. If all the altcoins are stagnating or dropping and Bitcoin is rising, then the dominance goes up, and vice versa. If Bitcoin is stagnating or dropping and altcoins are rising, then obviously Bitcoin dominance gets shut down. And that's kind of the example we have here. Since July of 2023, we've been basically in this rising channel. However, in the recent term here, we had two false breakouts here, which resulted, the first one, a check back to the mid-range here, another false breakout attempt, and this one got shut down on. I mean, this is massive volume, guys. I think this is a rollover here for Bitcoin dominance, and as well, we're forming here a lower low. So this definitely is a trend change at this point. It's not an uptrend anymore. Now it's beginning a downtrend. However, let's see how it behaves here. It's kind of the next line. That's the point of 59, let's say roughly 60%. That's acted as a lot of points of contact for support and resistance. So, I mean, if we cut through that, which is not that far away, I mean, what are we? Another probably like a couple, 3-4%, not even 1% away. If we end up cutting through that and the dominance keeps dropping, I mean, this is good for all altcoins as well as the Bitcoin miners. So yeah, it's definitely worthwhile to keep an eye out on this chart as well. Ethereum, super strong recovery. I mean, this is the bank that is pulling here. Where are we away? We're what, 8% away from this cycle's previous all-time high. I think we're going to get there in the matter of days. It's been having some very strong momentum. I mean, eventually I do think we're going to have to check back here to the 10-day EMA, which is at about 3,500. I think that would totally make sense, and that's kind of an area of resistance here for quite some time. So I don't even think it would be that bad. Maybe consolidate a little bit, backtest 3,500, and then we can continue and progress here through the 4,000 mark, or 4,078. And I do think in due time, within the next, I'd say, month or two, I do think we're going to be trying to take out the all-time high for Ethereum, which is 4,800. I mean, from the highs of this cycle to there, that's 18% plus another 8. What is that? 26%. I mean, that can be done in a very quick matter of time. So especially with Ethereum lagging Bitcoin, I mean, Bitcoin's already pretty much almost a double of what it was able to do last cycle. So Ethereum's really lagging. I do think the cycle here is going to end somewhere in the realm of 7,500, maybe even reach 10,000. Let's see how explosive things get. Obviously, the window of time is closing down here, if you believe the traditional Bitcoin cycles, and that we're going to be reaching a peak sometime throughout the fall here. Ethereum really doesn't have all that much time here, so I do think the move is going to be fairly impulsive, but I mean, once again, this comes back down to the Bitcoin dominance idea. As long as Bitcoin dominance keeps going down, this is going to keep shooting up along with all the other altcoins and Bitcoin miners. So this is definitely a good thing. Mara, the giant, the highest market cap miner at the moment of roughly a market cap of 7 billion. It's been struggling here. Overall, I mean, the move is good off the lows here. We were able to do 100%. However, we got a rejection here at the line, which has been acting as a point of multiple supports and resistances. So yeah, and you can see a lot of wicks here from the top, means a lot of selling pressure. But yeah, we got our check back here to the 10-day EMA. So let's see how that holds up. And I do think just with the amount of suppression Mara had and poor movement, I do think the magnet is going to be pulling here toward these ranges here in a short matter of time. That's 23.83 as well as 25.82 roughly. And then obviously the resistance is here of 28, some of the previous highs. Basically, Mara's been range bound, and I do think that the behavior has been fairly similar to IWM's behavior, and this chart replicates that quite well. Now, into the end of the cycle here, how high do I think Mara can go? And these targets haven't been changed one bit. This is basically Mara's trend here from 2017, 2018, even prior years. This is just this huge descending trend line here from 2013 that's been acting as resistance. We were able to overshoot it slightly here in December of 2021. So I do think here, with my theory of Bitcoin ending its bull run here into the fall, we're basically looking at a breakout here somewhere in this range. So I'd expect probably with a slight overshoot, maybe $44 to $46 on the lower end. We're looking at maybe about $40. So that's kind of what I'm eyeing here for Mara. And also, I do believe this move is going to be swift. We're already in July, so I mean, we're running out of time here. But overall, chart's looking good. We just need to get out of this descending channel. And once we do that, I do think Mara is going to be eyeing some of these levels here. Next chart, Riot. Riot is starting to look pretty good here too. It's been trading for the longest time ever here in this triangle, as well as, I mean, you can call it a descending channel as well, however you look at it. But we were able to actually break out of it here. There hasn't been a back test yet, but we're probably going to be seeing that here in the next couple of days. So that would be definitely a good level to scoop some Riot up in if it can hold. That's going to be the $13 mark. But it's definitely looking quite promising. Quite a bit of volume here too. It's just unfortunate that it ended up resulting in a shooting star here, which means there's been a lot of sell pressure. But I do think with it breaking out of the channel here, I do think it's looking more bright here, and there's more of a possibility that we're going to be challenging these levels here in a matter of weeks. That's going to be 18.5 to about 20.7, and once we're able to break out from there, overall, right, I'm eyeing these levels here, 24 to 29. So those are the levels I'm eyeing for Riot here in the very near term. Next one, CleanSpark. CleanSpark's still trading within this triangle here. Now, it's been behaving more similar to Mara, so the IWM and Mara. It feels like it's almost running out of juice here, and it hasn't even tapped this level. I was hoping it was going to be able to get to about 1480 before it has a slowdown, but I mean, it's been riding this 10-day EMA, so overall it's not looking bad. Steady volume. I do think it's going to keep progressing here. So the first level it's got to take out is a 1480. That's kind of a key level. And then you have this descending trend line here. So that's about, depending on when we break, between 16, somewhere in the 16s. 18, I mean, this one's got quite a bit of levels to break here. But once we're able to break out of the zone, I mean, I'm eyeing the levels of about 30 to 32. That's what I think it's able to do. But yeah, time will tell. Overall, it's holding up pretty decent with all these other companies selling off here in this cryptocurrency environment of the traditional markets. Obviously, the Ethereum treasury companies, which have been super pumped up. The Bitcoin miners now are starting to look like the better play as they're actually holding some of their gains and not giving it all back like the Ethereum treasury companies. HUT, super constructive movement here. Yeah, pretty much just hanging around the 10-day EMA. It's got some nice separation from the 50-day moving average. And overall, it's just literally hanging out the spot of previous resistance here for these two touch points, July 23rd and July 24th. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot more touch points here, so that's a pretty important level. So overall, to me, this looks pretty constructive. It's kind of like a breakout and a back test, and I do think in the coming next week or two, I'd say we're going to be trying to challenge these highs here, 44, depending on how Bitcoin and IWM does. But from there on, I mean, it's a very quick journey, and I do think we're going to be peaking somewhere here in the range of $51 to $56, and that would collide here with the ascending trend line here as well, which was from the point of July 23rd and December 24th from this rising resistance. Bitfarms, is it back from the dead or what? Overall, this is looking pretty good. We were trading in this triangle here, and we were actually able to break out of it. Not the greatest breakout. Ended up being quite a bit of a wick, but what I like and what I'm seeing here is huge volume. This is very promising compared to all the other things that have been happening here throughout this consolidation period. There's not really been much volume, so I mean, this definitely stands out. And I do see Bitfarms here trying to rush for that 258 mark, and once it's able to break out from there, then we'll be fighting with this ascending resistance, or before it was acting as support, now it's going to be resistance. So let's see how it behaves here in this zone, but once we're able to break out from there, I do think we're going to be triggering previous highs here. This one's been a complete lagger. It's been probably one of the worst miners to invest in, but it's definitely nice to see some signs of life in this one. Hive, another really poor performing Canadian mining stock. Really unfortunate to see how these are performing versus their performance in 2017-18 and the previous cycle 2020-2021. It's also very unfortunate as Hive's kind of been the OG. I mean, I've personally been tracking that one since 2017 and trading in and out throughout the past two bull runs, and it's very sad to see this one performing the way it does, but there is some signs of life here. It's been trading in this ascending channel. I do like that I'm seeing some green volume. The unfortunate thing here, once again, is a lot of wicks, means a lot of selling pressure. But I just think with the way this one's been suffocated, I think once it decides to run, it's going to run quite hard. Levels that we're looking at, I mean, there's plenty of resistance supports. So there's going to be, well, at this point, I guess let's call them all resistances since we cut through all those. But what I'd be eyeing here is these descending trend lines here. So this one's going to be here. That was the touch points throughout July of 23rd, January of 2024, and that third one, July of 2024. So I'd be eyeing these as kind of the first level to break out from. So that's going to be at about 376 Canadian. Once we're able to get out from there, the next one I'd be eyeing is this one right here, which was from the touch point here of March of 22 to November of 2024. And that one would be at a zone of about 586. Once we're able to break out from there, then I do think 1473 is in the cards. This would have to be a pretty dynamic move from Hive's point, as once again there's been a complete lagger. So let's see how it behaves here with these two resistance levels. If it's able to take them out pretty damn quick, then there's some chances of life. If it's struggling with these levels, I think it's going to be a sell. And unfortunately, Hive just didn't perform throughout this cycle. So let's see how this one goes. Wolf, this one's also behaving quite well. It's above its, I mean, it had a massive shoot down, probably one of the worst ones, but it's trading above here, this high in July of 23rd. It's trading above some other points of resistance here, and it's getting near 646. So it's kind of the next level. I mean, in my opinion, this one's got quite a bit of room to run. Kind of eyeing. So this is kind of this broadening wedge here. I'm eyeing these levels here. So between 940, which I think we're gonna pass in a blink, and we'd be looking at tapping this ascending resistance line here. And we'd be looking at tapping probably in the range of, well, I mean, if we're eyeing end of October here, maybe November, about 1235. That's kind of what I'm eyeing here for Wolf in the near term. If it's able to somehow break through that, then obviously 1569 is kind of the next level here. That's important. But let's see how this one behaves. For now, it's just been riding the 10-day EMA, and it's been having a very slow move. So overall, I think it's charged up and ready to make a monster move. And if we look at iron, which is the next one here, I mean, this one's had a monster move, absolutely epic. Had a crazy run from $5 to $22 in a very short period of time. With some consolidations in this area. I mean, yeah, not the biggest fan here of this ginormous wick here. The volume, I mean, everything was looking pretty good. Just a massive wick, almost looks like the bulls are exhausted here. It's a shooting star. However, what I like here is we're consolidating in an area here that's been previous resistance. So this is more or less, let's call it for now, a consolidation. I'd like iron to keep riding this 10-day EMA. As long as it can keep doing that, I'm not really too worried. If it loses this 10-day EMA, I might be looking at trying to retest this 50-day moving averages. It always tends to come back to these moving averages. So if it's exhausted, potentially it's going to need a drop. I mean, obviously, I hope that doesn't happen. It's been really going up nicely, and just at the levels we are at now, if iron can continue its path, then I mean, there's almost no resistance here, as you guys can see. There's pretty much no resistance here till we get to the top, and after that is blue sky territory. So this miner is definitely ahead of everybody else. It's got a beautiful chart. Let's just see how it behaves here over the next couple of days if it's able to ride this 10-day EMA here. And also I marked some ascending resistance lines which are now acting as supports. So let's see how it's holding on here. But yeah, definitely by far best miner out of the bunch here, especially from the recovery here after Trump announced his tariffs from April. It's just, yeah, monster move, monster move. Next one we're gonna look at is BTBT. This one's been really struggling, surprisingly, compared to Ethereum treasury companies. I think it's quite a mix-up, and people are having a hard time giving it a valuation, as it's got this white fiber spin-off, and then it's kind of still mining Bitcoin, and it's becoming Ethereum treasury, and then it's got this white fiber stuff coming along as well. So it's been a little tricky. I think that's why people are having a little bit of a hard time gauging of how to value this one. But in my opinion, it's definitely extremely undervalued. Especially comparing to the performance of some of these Bitcoin treasury companies, although their market caps were much lower. This one's got about a 1 billion market cap, I believe. So obviously harder to move the price, but it's got also a lot more going for it than those treasury companies. Those have nothing going for it other than just massive dilution that they did to be able to buy all this Ethereum. And our underlying company in which the treasury takes place in, they don't really provide much value, and there's nothing really all that exciting there. So what's going on here in the short term? So we got this channel here that we've been trading in for quite a while. Just beautiful bounces from the bear market lows, another bounce right here in April. We're about midway through the channel. I'd be eyeing this here in the near term. That's the level of 640. If we're able to break through there, the 920 is going to come quick, and then potentially 1356 if things get a little crazier. But in the very near term here, we lost the 10-day moving average. The next gap here, and I do think this gap's going to get filled here over the next couple of days. That's the gap at 294. This one definitely has a tendency of filling gaps before it ends up moving forward. And the volume, the selling volume's just been, yeah, pretty crazy. So I do see this one filling the gap. I hope it doesn't reach 269. I mean, potentially could shoot below here and reach this 50-day moving average. But just from the way it's been behaving, I don't really see a need of doing that. I think that would be enough just if it came back into the check back at 293, at which level I'd definitely buy some more. So Cypher, this one has been struggling here. Yeah, you guys can see all the wicks. Obviously, the good thing here is from the move to the upside, the volume was good on the upside, and then on the consolidation and retracement here, the volume is very low, so that's good. A couple wicks here means that there's some selling pressure at this resistance. As this ascending resistance. So if Cypher, which I do think it has quite a bit of juice left, if it can end up breaking through there, I do think it's a pretty quick journey here to these levels here. So that's about 7.5 to 8. Those were the highs of the cycle, and then from there I do think it's a very quick journey to 982. So there's really not that much resistance here past the $8 mark. So I think this one's going to be flying, and just, yeah, the volume's been pretty crazy here over the last little bit. So Cypher is looking really good. TMGI, this one's been kind of forgotten about. It's one of the Canadian small caps, one of the best performers throughout their last cycle. As you guys can see here, it was a move from about 4.5 cents to 5.20 something. Definitely had quite the move, quite the story. This cycle around, they've definitely been struggling. It's just slightly, what is it, just a little more than 2.5x off its lows, which is unfortunate as well. It had a nice consolidation here. I was kind of hoping that it's going to break out and have fall through. Unfortunately, it shot down here through this ascending resistance, and then it's been kind of struggling since then. What I do like here in the near term, recently what's been happening is the increase in volume. So what I'll be eyeing here is this descending resistance. If we're able to break through that, which is about 43 cents, and that's kind of a level from some previous touch points here in 2021 and throughout this bull run here, this cycle. If we're able to get through there, I do think it is quite a quick journey here to this $1.35 region. And then if things get more crazy, I think potentially we're able to tap this maybe $2, $2.40 level. Although without the IWM moving, I do see small caps such as DMGI having a much harder time to move than in the previous cycle. And then obviously a lot of money will have to pour out from the big boys such as Mara, Riot, and these ones. So I presume before any kind of crazy moves happen here, first Mara probably and some other big names are probably going to be doubling. And that's when the money is going to start rotating out of there and coming into the small cap. Now, the final chart, CBIT, this one I'm super excited about. This was kind of an underperformer throughout the last cycle. They just don't have much belief in putting out NRs. News releases, I do hope throughout this cycle they learned their lesson. There's been a change of management. A new guy that came on board, a guy from Hut 8, and he was responsible for the merger that happened there. So Joel Block. I'm quite excited for it. I really hope he runs it a little bit differently than two of the folks that left the executive team. So time will tell. Yeah, looking forward to the news releases and seeing what direction we take on here. But what I do like is CBIT has been having quite a bit of volume. What I would like to see is CBIT break out of this descending resistance here, which was from the high of this cycle, July 2023. And yeah, we've just been trying to fight with it here. Another touch point, May 2025, and now we're trying again. Volume is increasing. If we're able to break out from there, then obviously we'd have to challenge this zone here of 14.5, which has been this long-term consolidation, about a 2-year consolidation. Beautiful launch pad. Once we're able to get into there, I just call this a fake out here to the downside. A fake false breakout. And yeah, once we break out from there, we got runtime till, let's say, what Bitcoin runs into the fall. We got time until November, so I'd be eyeing some zones here. So it'd be 38 to 45 cents. And then this descending trend line here. So that's going to be acting as major resistance. And that would be 60 to 64 cents. And that's just looking at the chart from the previous peaks here. So depending on how crazy things get, I mean, we could potentially overshoot that as well. But it's not very hard to move something that's got such a small market cap. So, and the share structure too is, I mean, if you guys look at the share structure, it's pretty impressive. Shares out are, I mean, on paper, it shows that there is 800 million, but 70% of those are locked up, and they're going to be locked up for another, I believe, what is it, 3.5 years. So at the end of the day, I mean, we got only about 200 million, and for such a small market cap, I mean, things can really go bonkers here. And additionally, there's been a lot of long-term loyal shareholders, so I do think that the float is actually less than 200 million, substantially less than 200 million. So anyways, let's see how high this one can get, but I'm definitely excited. Always the micro caps is where you make the multi-baggers, so let's see how it goes for the rest of the cycle for this one. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.